Welcome to our show. It's election day coming up, and an important episode to watch is Vincent Wong and Andrew Webb, founder of Solution on Wheels and founder of Harper Times. And without further ado, we're going to throw you the most important question. I think in the beginning of this series, we briefly talk about the Pan-Democrats being smothered by the Hong Kong independence discussion. The radicals are obviously very happy. They increase the chance of getting elected. Although chances are slim in the beginning, chances are much different right now. The pro-establishment can actually play on the Hong Kong independence thing, and they call it the detoxification of Hong Kong.
Right.
And so that it becomes a GOTV get out the vote effort, a good message for them. I was suggesting the Pan-Democrats should actually focus on what they are going to do in the next 4 years. I'm pretty sure the pro-establishment camps will be forced to answer that because they are the pro-establishment force. So people are expecting them to deliver, so they're going to take up this fight. The Pan-Democrats can actually have more time to talk about what they can offer. Even the radicals maybe benefit from them. Because if they can tell people what they're going to focus on for the next 4 years, it actually provides gravitas for the argument. So it's a win-win-win for all. And luckily and interestingly, Harper Times asked this or a similar question already. And I have to pass this on to Mr. Work.
So, talking about the fact, we were a little bit upset about the fact that it seems to be a policy-light election, not so much talk about it. We went out
almost a vacuum.
Almost completely zero. We went out there and we actually asked candidates, what do you want to focus on for the next 4 years? So this includes candidates that have a good chance of winning, but also ones that are district councillors, from a little bit of a broader section of the political sphere. And we said, what are going to be the most important issues that you are going to fight for the next 4 to 5 years?
What are these issues? We are going to count down to the top 5, but almost make it to the top 5 is improving healthcare services, reducing waiting time for public housing applications, and resolution for post-2047 Hong Kong. That's the radical message, and it almost make it to the top 5. But these 3 issues becomes a tie and make it to the 6th.
So that basically these were the ones that were kind of right on the edge of making our top 5, but didn't quite get there.
So which are the top 5 issues?
Yes, and whoever's the next chief executive, this is what they're going to have to deal with. This is what the political class is going to be hammering for.
All right, number 5.
Number 5, standard working hours. A lot of legislators and district councillors and people in the political class said that they were going to be fighting for standard working hours over the next few years. So that's one for the government to look out for.
Number 4.
Looking back into restarting the political reform process. People were hoping that it was just going to go away and we weren't going to talk about it anymore. Ain't going to happen. There are going to be a lot of people in the political class are going to be out there demanding reform, whether it's electoral reform or other types of reform.
Number 3.
Goes hand in hand with that. People say they're going to fight for universal suffrage. Now, if we add those two,
3 and 4 is
very
almost the same.
But some people were very keen to say, like, we don't necessarily mean that we're fighting for true universal suffrage. But we do want universal reform. So you can kind of see how that breaks down.
So you want political reform?
Yeah.
But you may not necessarily want universal suffrage?
Real universal suffrage.
But universal suffrage actually trump.
Yeah. More that were willing to do the survey said that they were interested in fighting for real universal suffrage.
Number 2.
Perhaps no surprise, increase the supply of housing. Right? Still a big issue in Hong Kong. I think any chief executive candidate's going to have to deal with this as well in their campaign.
And then finally,
number 1,
1,
universal retirement protection.
A
lot of them said they were going to be agitating for a universal pension scheme. That was the number 1 thing that political actors said they would be after. Personally, I'm not a fan of the whole idea, but we can't deny what the survey results were, and they're saying that this is what they're going to agitate for.
But actually, if this is the case, I think there's an opportunity, or there's a window of opportunity for the Pan-Democrats to rebrand themselves. At least after this election.
Well, after the election, because otherwise they only got 48 hours to the election. But one of the things this tells us...
But what I'm saying is that there is a possibility to come up with a whole new idea of a political party, the Universal Party.
Could be. Could be.
Fighting for, although you may disagree, but
a lot,
fighting for universal suffrage and universal retirement protection.
Universal.
Yeah.
Universal square.
The U party.
Yeah.
The U party.
Well, the other thing.
Working for you.
Yeah, well, they can give it a try, but they have trouble kind of keeping it together. I mean, fractions punch the Pandems.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is that this campaign, when you look at the issues people are going to be voting on and what we've talked about this campaign, it's going to be completely disconnected from what politicians, the political class, actually say they're going to work for. So they're saying, hey, independence this, independence that. But frankly, when after they get the job, they're going to be working on completely different issues. So there's going to be a huge disconnect, and we'll see where that goes. I mean, but this is a real problem, I think, in politics. That we've had an election cycle talking about one thing, when everybody in the political class says, "Oh, and after we get elected, we're going to work on a bunch of different issues."
Yeah. So
what can you do? So people think very carefully.
What can you do?
Before you vote.
I think it's important to look deep into their platform.
I think so. Look beyond the headlines.
Yeah, look beyond the headlines. Look into their platforms. Actually, in a way, don't listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah.
All right, because you're going to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Because it's in black and white, it's in printed matters.
Yeah.
So it's important that you really read their platform. If you're, I think the Harper Times survey shows that universal, or not universal, but retirement protection discussion.
Yeah.
Increasing housing supply discussion.
Yeah.
And also how the legislators can actually initiate the political reform process.
Yeah.
Because the first step...
Get a discussion going.
Yeah, but the first step of the political discussion process is none of the Legislative Council's business, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the HKSAR government's business. They have to submit a report to Beijing to kickstart the process. Who do you think you can trust to force or initiate this political process with the government is important.
Yeah.
What's their stance on housing supply?
Yeah.
What's the stance on political reform and also on retirement protection?
Yeah.
Would be important for you to read in the leaflets. So that's why we spent the past 2 episodes on leaflets, because
although we talk mostly about design, not
designs,
really content.
but the point is, because of such bad design, you may not have read it.
Yeah.
So please read it.
Go to the websites
for
the different candidates in your district.
I think that's a solution that we will going to give you before you cast your vote on Sunday. And do remember to vote. I think that's important too.
It's a safe place to finish. Do your research and make your vote matter.